All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down the incredibly raw and honestly very real journey of what it's like to be in a toxic relationship. We're going to look at the warning signs and, most importantly, how to find your way out and reclaim your self-worth. We're using some really powerful testimony to walk us through it all. Okay, let's just dive headfirst into the feelings here. This quote, it's fiery, it's hilarious, right? But underneath all that humor, there is so much pain. It just perfectly nails that feeling of sacrifice, of all the opportunities you passed up, of all the investment you made, which is exactly why betrayal hurts so much.
But, that intense feeling of betrayal, it doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's usually built on a pattern of behavior that's been there for a while. So let's rewind and start at the very beginning. We're going to decode some of those subtle tactics that show up early on. These are the absolute first warning signs you've got to look out for.
So first up is a real classic red flag, what we're calling the ghost call. This is where silence is literally used as a weapon. They vanish, they go completely quiet, leave you all confused and hurt, and then boom, they reappear out of the blue. But here's the thing, that call isn't an apology. No, it's a calculated move to throw you off balance, to gaslight you, and to suck you right back into their drama.
And then there's this one, another super common tactic. It all starts with this crazy, intense whirlwind of affection, love bombing. It makes you feel like, wow, this is it. I've found the one. And then, just as fast as it started, they slam on the brakes, telling you things are moving too fast. It's such a classic trap because it completely flips the script. Suddenly, you feel like you're the problem, when really, they're just hiding their own issues and their own inability to actually commit.
And get this, even simple, everyday language can be turned into a tool for control. You might be in a conversation, maybe you're making a good point, and they feel like they're losing control, so what do? They drop a nickname on you, like Buddy. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a subtle little power play meant to put you down, to shift the dynamic from two equal partners to something much less.
All right, let's move on. Because you can see how these little tactics, they don't just stay little. They build on each other, and they create this much bigger, absolutely soul-crushing pattern. This is when the relationship stops feeling like a partnership and starts to feel like a constant performance, a total emotional one-way street. And that feeling of burnout, it doesn't happen overnight. It is a slow burn. It's the day-in, day-out reality of being the only one putting in the effort, the only one managing all the emotions, the only one trying to keep the whole thing afloat. It's like this emotional debt that just keeps piling up and up and up until you're just completely exhausted. You just can't carry it anymore.
So, here's the absolute heart of the problem, projection. This slide just lays it out so perfectly. On the left, you've got his reality, totally twisted by his own past trauma. He's projecting all his old wounds and fears onto you. And then on the right, well, that's your reality. You're constantly on trial for things you never even did, forced to shadowbox with the ghost of his ex. It's a fight you were never, ever going to win.
And really, it all just boils down to this one simple but incredibly powerful question you have to ask yourself when you feel that constant exhaustion. Just look over your shoulder. Are you the only one rowing the boat? That feeling of being totally drained is usually the clearest answer you'll ever get. Let's be real. What you're in at that point isn't a partnership. It's a predictable, toxic cycle. You're pushed into being the pursuer, always performing, always trying to prove you're worthy. And the really tragic part, all your hard work just makes him feel secure while you're left completely wiped out. And instead of having a mature conversation, you get those vague, passive-aggressive posts online. It's just a total dead end. Okay, take a deep breath, because now we get to the most painful part of this journey. This is where all those red flags, all that one-sided effort, leads to its inevitable devastating end. This is the ultimate price you pay for investing all your love into someone who is unhealed and, frankly, untrustworthy. Just look at this timeline. This is so much more than a list. It's a map of a 6-year, deep, personal investment. We're talking marriage, 2 kids, learning new skills just for him, propping up his career, managing his entire life. This paints a picture of total, unwavering, absolute commitment.
And for all of that devotion, this was the payoff? The betrayal wasn't just one thing. It was the shocking, staggering layers of it all. Cheating with the exact same ex he supposedly couldn't stand. cheating with a prostitute, cheating with multiple other people. Like this slide says, it's not just a house of cards falling down. It's the complete and utter demolition of the reality she thought she was living.
But you know what? After you survive that kind of demolition, something incredible can happen. A moment of real, profound clarity starts to emerge. And there's this fundamental shift in how you see everything. You go from victim to survivor, and you stop focusing on his brokenness and start finally seeing your own worth. And that shift, it often crystallizes around this one simple, powerful idea. Hurt people hurt people. Now let me be crystal clear. This does not excuse the behavior. It does not make the pain okay, but it does help explain it.
And this is the absolute core of that understanding. I really need you to hear this. The pain that he put you through was never, ever a reflection of you or your value. It was a symptom of his own damage, his own unresolved trauma that he was just passing on. His actions were always about him. They were never about you. This slide just captures that huge mental shift perfectly. Look, on one side, his inability to love, that's a reflection of his brokenness, his shortcomings. But on the other side, your worth exists totally separate from how he treated you. Your value is a reflection of you, and it is still completely intact. And once you truly get that, once you internalize it, that's where the empowerment comes from. The focus is no longer on trying to fix him, it's on healing yourself. You start to find real peace in a silent phone, and you finally know when it's time to stop being his emotional support system and start being your own biggest advocate.
So this entire journey, from that first tiny little red flag all the way to this final empowering realization, it really leaves us all with one critical question to think about in our own lives, in our own relationships.
Where is that line? The line between being a loving, supportive partner and just engaging in self-destructive sacrifice. Knowing the answer to that question for yourself, that is the ultimate key to protecting your peace and honoring your own worth. And that's a really powerful thought to end on.